and welcome everyone. I am your Heavenly Father. We're going to take a look at Trump's not coronavirus presser. It was a coronavirus presser when they talked about it yesterday. Today it was just called a press conference. I tried to watch this because I didn't want you guys to get bored, because sometimes he'll bring in admirals and they'll talk endlessly about how great the president is doing with his leadership and 4 million cases. I wanted to do that for you. I fell asleep 3 times. 3 times, guys. So I'm going to be sitting up for this one. I'm going to try to make it through with you guys. Hi, Danielle. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Casey. Hi, Dr. Bev is from before. So I put the chat window up there during the countdown, so hopefully some of you were able to say something there in the chat window to each other. I'm very excited today. Today, I got a face cup. Look at that thing right there. I haven't opened up yet. That goes on my face with a tight seal. Make me look like a hockey player, but with teeth. Or perhaps without teeth, because it's behind the cup. But it's got medical silicone gel that seals against your face. I'll experiment with that later, and you guys can see all about it. I think it's going to be the best solution for protecting myself from coronavirus and not protecting you guys, but there's a solution for that as well. A really simple face bra, actually. Hi, Mavigo. So let's get going with this, and you guys are going to have to try and keep me awake through this. I'm so tired of Trump. Oh boy, thanks for being here, guys. Let's get through this. If you're joining for the first time, hi, welcome. If you'd like to be in the chat, that little window you see over on that side, that is a amalgamation of all the 4 or 5 different platforms that we're on. That all goes into one chat. Good news. I won a contest of sorts. The company that does this thing that enables me to broadcast simultaneously to multiple platforms, they're called Restream. They had a YouTube thing, and they asked a question, or they asked 4 questions, and I submitted a question, and then about 45 minutes later, they said, hey, we're giving away 6 months of the professional version. Let's give it away to this guy, because he asked that question earlier about using us as an alternative to Zoom, and they gave the guy 6 months of Restream Professional, which was awesome, except that it was my question. So the good part of the story is I sent a note on Twitter to the Restream people and said, hey, that's really cool that you liked that question, but it was my question. And they're going to give me 6 months of professional Restream. Right now, we're just using the free version. Not sure what the professional version will do. Hopefully, it'll make this show entertaining. Speaking of not entertaining, here's Mr. Trump.
Update on our response to the China virus and what my administration is doing to get the outbreak in the Sun Belt under control. Seems largely in Sun Belt, but could be spreading. My team is also working night and day with Capitol Hill to advance the next economic relief package. We're working very hard on it. We're making a lot of progress. I also
holy smokes
know that both sides want to get it done. We'll call it phase 4. I think we're going to get it done. We'll protect our workers, our schools, and our families, and protect them very strongly. As one family, we mourn every precious life that's been lost. I pledge in their honor that we will develop a vaccine and we will defeat the virus. We're doing very well with vaccine development and therapeutic development. But I want to thank our brave doctors and nurses and frontline responders. The job they do is incredible, and they are truly brave. My administration will stop at nothing to save lives and shield the vulnerable, which is so important. We've learned so much about this disease, and we know who the vulnerable are, and we are going to indeed shield them. And again, the vaccines are coming, and they're coming a lot sooner than anyone thought possible, by years. If you look at the old system and look at the new system, I think by years.
Yeah.
The China virus is a vicious and dangerous illness, but we've learned a great deal about it and who it targets. We are in the process of developing a strategy that's going to be very, very powerful. We've developed them as we go along. Some areas of our country are doing very well. Others are doing less well.
Again, let's take a look at the areas doing...
It will probably, unfortunately, get worse before it gets better. Something I don't like.
First time he's ever said anything negative about anything except a Democrat. So yeah, these areas are doing well, and these areas are doing not so well. But let's go back to what he said there, because I did listen afterwards. I woke up when the real people started talking, and this is significant. But he'll walk this all back tomorrow.
A strategy that's going to be very, very powerful. We've developed them as we go along. Some areas of our country are doing very well. Others are doing less well.
A lot of less well.
It will probably, unfortunately, get worse before it gets better. Something I don't like.
I misquoted him. I said not so well. He just said less well. Well and less well. It's like talking to a 4-year-old. That is a wonderful picture of a unicorn. And that is almost as wonderful a picture of a unicorn. Did you guys all see my face cup? Haha. Jelly.
Like saying about things, but that's the way it is. It's what we have. You look over the world. It's all over the world.
Yep, deflect. Let's talk about the world instead of the United States having 4 million cases. Woo! USA.
And it tends to do that. The governors are working very, very hard, and we are supporting them 100%. Everything they need, they get, and we are taking good care. We have tremendous supplies and a great supply chain, whether it's ventilators or gowns.
And the mayor of Phoenix said, I talked to FEMA, and they said, we're getting out of the testing business.
Or just about anything they need. So that's a big difference from inheriting very, very empty cupboards. The median age of those who succumb to the China virus is
19,000 ventilators. They inherited 19,000 ventilators. Someone can get me the figure. I'm sure somebody knows this. We had a whole bunch of ventilators that weren't maintained because Trump canceled the maintenance contract. And so they ended up sending those to California. And Newsom and Garcetti sent them to get repaired and got them fixed. I think it was 1,200 or something like that. Forget the number.
8 years old. Roughly half of all deaths have been individuals in nursing homes or long-term care. In one study, 90% of those hospitalized had underlying medical conditions, whether it's...
Yeah, so if half of them are in nursing homes, then I'm not a mather, but somewhere around half of them were not in nursing homes?
Heart or diabetes, but usually it's some kind of a condition. It seems that people have that, and if they do, it's a problem, no question about it. Young adults may often have mild or even no symptoms. They won't even know they're sick.
Or die.
They won't have any idea that they have a virus. They won't have any idea at all.
Sorry, Mathis.
America's youth will act responsibly, and we're asking everybody that when you are not able to socially distance, wear a mask, get a mask. Whether you like the mask or not, they have an impact, they'll have an effect, and we need everything we can get. Data shows children have the lowest fatality risk. 99.96% of all virus fatalities are in adults. Think of that. So that's much, much, much less than 1%.
So some kids
for
die.
Children, young people. By understanding
and at 140,000 cases,
these risk profiles and learning how to treat the disease, we've been able to greatly reduce mortality in the United States. In fact, we'll show you a chart and how well we do compared to the rest of the world. We have several treatments already available that significantly reduce the severity and duration of the disease, including remdesivir, which has been very successful, and a widely available steroid treatment. And we have many more happening and coming out. We've learned.
So that's 60 dead kids in the United States, 60 kids killed by the coronavirus. That's, I know we mourn each and every death. I mean, no, seriously, we're really, really sad about all this in my administration. But, most kids, think of all the kids who don't die from coronavirus. Yes, more than one per state will die. You know what? Sometimes kids die. Get over it, people.
Best practices for treatment of the virus at every stage, and have shared these findings with medical providers, and we've shared them all over the world. The relationship with other countries.
Incidentally, I did check on the number of children who've died from coronavirus, could not find an accurate statistic. because they are few and far between, and by that I mean 60, if we go by what he just said. But the CDC site that did measure that is part of the information that is now moved. So I couldn't get you an accurate figure on that, if it was accurate to begin with. Because, of course, a lot of kids wouldn't be diagnosed correctly, especially those that died near the beginning. And then, of course, we don't know the long-term effect on a lot of kids.
Has been very strong. We're all working together.
Hey,
this
Airbus.
includes ensuring all hospitals are aware of the importance of different approaches to oxygen treatment, including high-flow oxygen, the importance of steroid treatment for those on ventilators. And when you're on a ventilator, we've learned a tremendous about the use of the ventilator. And at the beginning,
what?
people never had a high-flow oxygen.
Does he say a tremendous about? Sounds Canadian.
The
You know what else is Canadian? My face cup. Look at that, huh?
importance of steroid treatment for those on ventilators. And when you're on a ventilator, we've learned a tremendous about the use of the ventilator. And at the beginning, people...
Abound. We've learned a tremendous abound. Go ahead.
Including high-flow oxygen, the importance of steroid treatment for those on ventilators.
Yeah, and when you're on a ventilator.
When you're on a ventilator,
Yeah.
We've learned a tremendous about the use of the ventilator. And
No, tremendous about.
at the
He does say
beginning,
a
people
tremendous about.
never had an experience like this, where we needed so many ventilators so fast, and even the use of the ventilators. But the doctors have become incredibly, and nurses and helpers have become incredibly good at the use of a ventilator, which is actually a very complicated procedure, and allocating remdesivir to hospitals based on new admissions, since it works best early in hospitalization. And that's something that they've really...
Do me a favor, Danielle. Danielle just posted here a few days ago, 1,000 toddlers in California tested positive for COVID-19. They had gone back to daycare. Can you please get me a link on that, Danielle?
started. They're using it much earlier. Fatalities nationwide have fallen 75% since mid-April. It's a great number. As cases and fatalities rise in certain hard-hit states, which you're
900 people a day dying. It's a great number.
looking at right now, we're surging personnel, supplies, and therapeutics. We again have tremendous amounts of supplies. We are in very good shape, and we can move them quickly. Our case fatality rate has continued to decline and is lower than the European Union and almost everywhere else in the world.
No.
If you watch American television, you think
That is a bald-faced lie. It is not lower than almost everywhere else in the world. We've looked at that before. Actually, let's see. I might even have it still pulled up. Okay. Daily confirmed cases and deaths for the world. No, that's not the one. That's a test. I'll pull it up. Let's go back to listening to him.
that the United States was the only country involved with and suffering from the China virus. Well,
COVID.
the world is suffering very badly. But the fact is that many countries are suffering very, very, very badly. And they've been suffering from this virus for a long time. We've done much better than most. And with the fatality rate at a lower rate than most, it's something that we can talk about. But we're working again with them because we're helping a lot of countries that people don't even know about. I get calls all the time asking for help, especially as it pertains to the ventilators. They need help.
From countries that people don't even know about? Like, there's no people in those countries? Is he talking about Antarctica?
With ventilators. They have to get them. They're very hard to get. We're making thousands now a month, thousands of ventilators a month. It's been quite amazing. We keep doing the good job, and things will get better and better. We'll be putting up charts behind me showing different statistics and different rates of success. And I guess you could say also things that we can do better on. But you'll see them. They'll be put up as we go. In April, the average age of individuals who tested positive for the virus was over 50 years old. Today, the average age is significantly younger. Hospital lengths of stay are almost half of what they were in April. So the stays are about half. The rate of cases requiring hospitalization has been reduced, and mortality among those admitted to the hospital is nearly 1/2 of what it was in April. We've learned a lot. We've learned a lot about this disease, how to handle it. The doctors have learned a lot, not only in the use of the ventilators, but in many other things. And
yeah, we've learned a lot. We always learn a lot as time goes by. That's how the world works. Okay, so, hi, Allison. So here's, I just pulled up the Our World in Data site, which is the site that they use for their data. What they've got printed up behind them is right off the Our World in Data site. I just brought up a death log on the Our World in Data site. I'm going to move it slightly so we can see it better. So these are just a few of the countries. I didn't dial these countries in because remember on this site you can pick and choose which countries you want to see the data for. These were just the countries that they showed me when I pulled up the data. I don't know if that's randomly generated or if it's popular searches, whatever it is. But you can see, and this is the death rate per million. You've got Italy up at the top there because, of course, they got hammered right up at the beginning. You've got Mexico right below that. With 11.6% fatality rate. But as you can see, the United States is, let's see, United States is this pink line right here. And there are many, many, many countries lower than the United States in terms of death rate. Take South Africa at the bottom out of the equation. But New Zealand, for example, beat the virus. There's no more virus in New Zealand. I'm sure they'll have one pop up from time to time, and I really, really want to move to New Zealand. So if there's any Kiwis out there watching, Kiwi Kevin Williams, I don't even have to change my initials. Let me in. There's hockey rinks in New Zealand, and I'm ready. See? Face cup. Anyway, so he's lying about that. He continues to be lying about that, and Chris Wallace called him out on that with the whole death rate thing being better than everybody, and he was wrong. And he called for the stats, and he was wrong. And even with the stats later in the interview, which we'll cover sometime before the election day, he says he was right in the interview. And Chris Wallace let him get away with it. Here's the thing. Chris Wallace was a little bit wrong, too. You got to be right. You got to get him down. You got to kick him when he's down. And you got to cover his face with a face cup so he can't breathe.
Things are happening, too, like the remdesivir and other elements, steroids, etc. But these trends could change without our continued and relentless focus, and that's what we have. We have a relentless focus, and it's been that way from the beginning.
Not what you've
had.
But
we've learned so much, as you know. And
excuse me, but let's open up the schools. The schools need to open. What about the kids? Some of the kids will be severely sick. Some will die. The schools need to open in full. No question, open in full. That's not relentless.
Recent weeks, we've seen a concerning rise in the cases in many parts of our South. You look at South, Southwest, and West. This growth in cases first began to appear in mid-June.
And Midwest.
Primarily among 18 to 35-year-olds, many of whom were asymptomatic. We're also facing the challenge of a significant spike in virus cases across the rest of the Western Hemisphere, including...
Which spice is it? Is it cardamom? Do it again.
Here in mid-June, primarily among 18 to 35-year-olds, many
paprika.
Of whom were asymptomatic.
No, it's cinnamon.
We're also facing the challenge of a significant spike in virus cases across the rest of the Western...
He's been doing the cinnamon challenge. Barron showed it to him, so that makes sense. If you guys don't know what the cinnamon challenge is, I think you take a spoonful of cinnamon, ask a kid, stick it in your mouth and try and keep your mouth closed with the cinnamon in there. It's very difficult. I did it one time, but I was drunk, so I don't remember.
Hemisphere, including Mexico. Mexico's been hit very, very, very hard. As you know, the president, a great gentleman, was here 2 weeks ago, and they have really been hit hard. Because we've achieved a nearly four-fold increase in testing capacity in 2 months,
I'm going to interrupt right now. If you'd like to help out, as Mavigo just said that he wants to help out, easiest way to do that is to go to kevinleefather.com. You can become a patron. And even if you just want to make a one-time donation, you can always become a patron and then make that donation, $10, $30, $5,000, whatever it is, and then cancel so that it's just a one-time payment. Or if you want to make a one-time payment, paypal.me/KevinLeeDad. Or Mavigo, you can hold on because very soon I will be giving you guys a link to something where you can give me money and make money at the same time. So there are other options, and there was another one as well. But right now, it's kevinleefather.com for Patreon or the paypal.me/KevinLeeDad. But I really appreciate the question. Thank you for pushing me into a commercial. I appreciate that. And if anybody else doesn't want to donate anything, that's fine too. Sit back, enjoy. Let other people pay for your dirty work.
Successfully identifying more asymptomatic and mild cases. Some cases so mild that you really don't even treat them. Some cases with children where they don't even know that they're ill. And I guess they're not very ill because they recover almost immediately.
And some cases where they've been ill for 5 months and no one's really sure if they're ever going to recover. Just get on the internet, folks.
Per capita, the U.S. is conducting 50% more tests than Europe. And we've conducted nearly 3 times as many tests as all of the other countries in the Western Hemisphere combined.
Not true.
Over 50 million tests.
Not
this allows us to isolate those who are infected, even those without symptoms, so we know exactly where it's going and when it's going to be there. We're also working to reduce turnaround time. My administration has been aggressively responding to case growth in the Sun Belt, and we continue to do so, working very close with all governors, but right now, in particular, those governors. We're coordinating closely with hospitals and governors. In the last 3 weeks, I've sent senior officials into 9 states to meet with governors and provide recommendations to the various leaders of the state, including hospital administrators, etc. My administration currently has 0 unfulfilled requests for equipment or anything else that they need from the governors. No governor needs anything right now, and we think we'll have it that way till the end because, frankly, I
find that tremendously hard to believe. Otherwise, there would be no shortages in testing equipment and no shortages in testing itself, or backlogs, I should say. So I'm just going to call false on that without any particular evidence, but I'm sure there's governors out there that are asking for things.
Stocked up and ready to go wherever we have to go. We've nearly 7,000 National Guard and military medical personnel in Texas, California, Florida,
medical
and Arizona
personnel.
That's helping us.
That's what he said, I think. Hold on, let's do it again.
Way till the end because, frankly, we are stocked up and ready to go wherever we have to go. We've nearly 7,000 National Guard and military medical personnel in Texas, California, Florida, and Arizona that's helping us greatly. I want to thank them very much. The military has been fantastic. We're closely monitoring hospital capacity in these states. Hospitals are open for
until the nurses have respirators that they can throw away after every use, like they're designed to be used, we still have PPE shortages. Somebody said we were going to have 30 million manufactured in July, best case scenario. By the way, can we get together and take June and July and spread them apart? The 2 J's right next to each other, JUs, it's confusing to me. We need to get them, like, bookend them. Maybe put them at the beginning of the year and the end of the year. That would fix everything. Don't think about that because it'll figure me out.
Elective surgeries and other procedures. So hospitals are open for elective surgeries.
Some are, yeah.
We want Americans to get the medical treatments they need. All of the governors we've spoken with say they have enough bed capacity. That's a great thing. Our initial shutdown was to prevent the overflow of our hospitals and to allow us to meet the demands caused by this global pandemic, including the ventilators.
But not to save lives. Got it.
And a permanent shutdown was really never an option in terms of what we're doing right now. This would be completely unsustainable, produce debilitating economic fallback, and lead to catastrophic public health consequences. There are consequences to shutdowns. And
this is where we are. He just said debilitating properly, but my brain said, that's not how you say it. I'm pretty much Pavlov's dog of Trumpisms.
We've saved potentially millions of...
just in case you guys are wondering, yeah, this is the, as all good things come from Canada, this particular face cup is called the O2 Canada. It's available on Amazon. I just got it. It's also, if you go to their site, I've been doing a lot of research on this, and this looks like definitely the best option, but I will be trying it out. It is a respirator. It is a KN95 respirator, but it does not have the same stuff. Because it's used only for air purification, it does not have the same, I think there's some kind of salination base in the filters that you have if you're using an actual N95 filter. So it's not that, but it performs all the way down to 0.3 microns, something along those lines. Something very, very tiny. The virus is 0.12, sorry, the virus is 0.12, they think, and this guy goes all the way down to 0.03. So I'm not a sciencer, but there it is. It's 2.5 on this one, the official rating. But this is a Canadian company. I'm going to do a review of it, and I will let you guys know. But in case, Casey, you don't see it, it's the O2 Canada. And the story is a couple of guys from Canada were vacationing all the time in Asia, and all of the respirator, all the face masks that you get, they all suck, right? They all have gaps, and none of them fit our noses properly, or we can't breathe with them on because the wire thing pinches our noses. So they said, you know what, let's get with the University of Waterloo, which is in Canada, not England, in Ontario, and let's get with their labs and let's design everything we want to design properly. So I'm thinking with this, I might even be confident to get enough to get out on the ice again. If I can play with that on, because it is a respirator, there's a filter, and it's anyway, you can look it up yourself. I'll do something else about it later.
Lives by doing the initial shutdown, but now we're
see, my brain knew it was coming. Listen to how he says initial.
And lead to catastrophic public health consequences. There are.
That's not too big for my face, producer Joanna. You're too big for my face. Yeah, take that.
Consequences to shutdowns, and we've saved potentially millions of lives by doing the initial shutdown, but now we're
initial. We did the initial. It's like something out of the Grinch. The Grinch looked down on Whoville and did the initial. I don't even know what word would come next. No, this is small. This is small. It looks bigger. This only goes, it doesn't even go around your whole, it doesn't go under your chin like that. It just goes here like that. It's not too big for my face. But yeah, it looks silly. But the workaround to keep all of you yahoos safe completely covers it anyway, and I'll get to that later.
Very aware of this disease. We understand the disease to
that's actually why I got this. I'm going to have Kevin Lee Daughter try it on and see if it fits her face, because she's only 5 foot nothing. She's like 5'1", but she's nothing really. I mean, when it comes to it, I hope she's not watching, but let's not get her hopes up from it. You guys are always praising her, telling her she can be, and no, she's nothing. Nothing, people. Anyway, we're going to see if this fits her face as well, because it does have the Japanese medical silicone around the sides. We'll open that up later. Let's get back to Trump because, again, I fell asleep 3 times watching this. Hi, Linda.
To a large extent, nobody's going to maybe ever fully understand it, but we'll end up with a cure. We'll end up with therapeutics. We'll end up with a vaccine very soon, all 3. We're instead asking Americans to use masks, socially distance, and employ vigorous hygiene. Wash your hands every chance you get while sheltering high-risk populations. We are imploring young Americans to avoid packed bars and other crowded indoor gatherings, be safe, and be...
Or just shut the bars like Dr. Fauci keeps imploring you to do. That's not hard to figure out. Shut the restaurants, but for the love of God, shut the bars. Shut the bars and shut the churches. How many outbreaks do we have to have in bars and churches? I'm going to find you guys something that I was reading an article this morning, I think it was. One of the stupid states, West Virginia. And if you live in West Virginia, no offense, but your state is stupid. I think it was West Virginia. Outbreaks in churches in not just 1 or 2 churches, multiple churches in multiple counties. I'll get you that in a second. You guys go about your business.
Be smart. We're surging testing capacity to identify and isolate cases. This includes a newly approved testing platform to nursing homes across the South. We're being very, very vigilant with respect to nursing homes because you know all of the problems that we've had with so many people so sadly.
I will shut my mouth, or will I? You won't be able to tell because it'll be covered by my face cup. Here it is as of this morning. Let's see, West Virginia. Oh yeah, of course. West Virginia has the governors whose name is also the most likely to be a Steven Seagal character, Jim Justice. They've had an outbreak of church spreads, hotspots in Grant, Logan, and Wood counties. And that's to add to last week's church outbreaks identified in Boone, Kahanwa, Raleigh, and Taylor counties. So good job, West Virginia. Good job, everybody packing into churches. My mother was a Lutheran minister, and she always told me, hey, God's everywhere. Pray wherever you feel like it. God is infinite. He's everywhere, and he's nowhere. Then I stayed awake at night.
We're infected, so that all of the staff and residents can be routinely tested and isolated to ensure our elderly are even more strongly protected than anybody else. That's really the high-risk people, the high-risk, wonderful people. Once this current surge in cases declines, this
my favorite people are high risk.
Same testing platform will enable
Wonderful,
people to visit
beautiful.
their loved ones after taking a test, which is a big difference. Ultimately, our goal
What?
is
What did he just say?
people, the high-risk,
Yeah.
wonderful people.
Wonderful
Once this current surge in cases declines, the same testing platform will enable people to visit their loved ones after taking a test, which is a big difference. Ultimately, our goal
Yeah.
is not merely to manage the pandemic, but to end it. We want to get rid of it as soon as we can. That is why getting a vaccine remains a top priority. 2 vaccine candidates are entering the final stage of clinical trials this month. This was achieved in record time. It used to be years before you were in a position like we are right now. 4 other
that's true.
vaccines will enter final trials in the following.
And we're very hopeful, but keep in mind, we've never actually found a vaccine to the common cold. So vaccines are hit and miss, people.
Weeks, and
That's why you need the O2 Canada Face Cup.
we're mass producing all of the top candidates so that the first approved vaccine will be available immediately. And logistically, we have the military ready to go. We have great people, logistic military people, a wonderful general who's waiting for the vaccine so they can distribute it in record time. That's what's going to happen. So our military is all set to go.
Okay, so that's not what we should be doing. What we should be doing is take the promising vaccines, whether that be one of our own, or whether that be the one out of Oxford, or whether that be the Russian vaccine, or whatever it is, and start mass producing it now. We've had the virus for 6 months, and Kevin Lee Daughter just got tested on Sunday. It might be 10 days before they even get around to testing that. 10 days! There's no point. After 2 or 3 days, you've completely lost the chance of contact tracing. Plus, we don't have enough contact tracers. You can't tell me that if the vaccine gets approved by the FDA in November, that we're going to be able to distribute it anytime soon after that. We should be producing those vaccines en masse immediately. And the ones, if they don't work, okay. So we have now 90 million vials of it. It's worth every penny, because if we have the vaccine, we can actually have a real economy again. And the economy is what he has to run on, which is why right now he's going to lose. And if there were any brains in the White House, they would be saying, we need to requisition. If it takes using the Defense Production Act, fine. We need to requisition factories. We need to employ people. We need to be mass producing these vaccines that show promise now.
We will deliver a vaccine, therapeutics, whatever it is necessary, and defeat the virus once and for all. And I'll take a few questions if you'd like.
Good
I
questions.
will say this. I want to thank all of the staff, the White House staff, all of the doctors that we've been working with so closely.
Jason, I can't play pinball in my mom's basement because she's dead. But thank you for that.
And it just a lot.
She was a Lutheran minister, and she would have said that I should forgive you immediately. And so I will. You're forgiven, Jason.
A lot of very positive things are happening. It's a nasty, horrible disease that should have never
very
been allowed
positive
to
things,
escape
not
China,
that.
but it did. And it
A lot of
infected the
very
world,
positive
and the
things.
world is suffering.
This.
But we're going to get it taken care of, and we're
A
helping
lot of
lots
very
of other
positive
countries.
things going on right there. With the
Mr.
uncontrolled
President,
spread.
First, I just wanted to get a clarification. Your press secretary said today that you sometimes take more than one test a day. Well, why is that? And how often?
Well, I didn't know about more than one. I do take probably on average a test every 2 days, 3 days, and I don't know of any time I've taken 2 tests in one day, but I could see that happen.
Okay, so Kaylee said multiple tests in a day. And then later said several. And yeah, so Kaylee was just fucking lying to us. And she just got corrected by the president, who always lies. I don't know which one of them. Whoa.
So Republicans and Democrats on Capitol Hill both said that they want to see more money for testing. They want to send billions of dollars to the states so they can do more testing. And you probably saw Mick Mulvaney the other day said that his kids, it took them a week to get test results back. He said this is simply inexcusable given where we are in the pandemic.
Mick Mulvaney's daughter wanted to see her grandmother. Mick Mulvaney, former chief of staff, and he could not get his daughter tested. So his daughter couldn't go see his grandmother because his daughter was asymptomatic. She didn't have it. We don't know whether she had it or not because she couldn't get tested without symptoms. So, yeah, we don't have enough tests.
Do you think we have a problem with testing in this country right now? And are you in favor of more money for testing?
We've done more testing by far than anybody. Some of the tests, because it is massive volume, it takes longer. Others of the tests, as you know, are very quick. They're 5 minutes and 15-minute tests. And those are, frankly, the ones that I prefer. But we're doing massive numbers, and the numbers are coming.
It's nice to be able to take the test that you prefer, rather than the one where the guy sticks your brain up and scrubs, or sticks the stick up and scrubs the back of your brain. He gets to do the little rub it around, 15 minutes.
Coming down. And as we go, as an example, there are thousands and thousands of kits being made right now, which give you a 15-minute and a 5-minute test. So we'll be able to get those numbers down.
Yeah, we need 100,000 of those if we want to open up the schools. In fact, we need multiples per school, and we need batch testing where all the kids come in the morning, there's a vial waiting for them as they walk in the door of their classroom, spit, mix them all together, test it. Okay, that classroom's clean, you're good. As soon as they find a positive result in any of those, per class, you get all the kids, you sit them in the chairs in the gymnasium. The gymnasiums will have tape on the floor, just like at a Biden press conference. You sit them in the chairs 6 feet apart from each other in the nice big open gym. Then you test all of them individually and find out which one of them has the RNA of the sequence that appears in the virus. And you say, okay, kid, you're going home. All the other kids, you're home for 2 weeks. Don't come back.
Those numbers are similar in other places. They're also doing massive numbers like nobody thought possible. But those numbers will be coming down. I agree. I think it's a good thing if we can do it.
Are you in favor of more money for testing?
Well, they're going to make a presentation to me tonight and tomorrow on that. And again, we're leading the world. I think the second country at 12 million, we're going to be over 50 million tests. Second country is India with 12 million. No. Then you have 7 million, 6 million, and 4 million.
First country is China. We're the second country. Third country is Russia with 25 million. But sure, let's look we're way better than India.
Million. I think that we are doing tremendous amount of testing, but if the doctors and the professionals feel that even though we're at a level that nobody ever dreamt possible, that they would like to do more, I'm okay with it.
Why are your doctors not with you here today? Where's Dr. Fauci, Dr. Birx?
Well, Dr. Birx is right outside. Yes, please.
Yeah, Dr. Scarf is right outside. Why have the doctor in when you're doing a coronavirus thing? They changed it. It's not just a coronavirus. So in their defense, and I will come to their defense because I'm nothing but fair. So yeah, here it is. Yeah, there's the United States. Okay, second country is the United States because China doesn't report. And we know that China did at least 90 million already back in June. So more by now. But here's the thing. China doesn't even have to test that much anymore because they've controlled the virus. China has controlled the virus. Russia, which has not controlled the virus, if we can believe their figures, they're sitting at 25 million. India, 14 million. I don't know what he said, but I wasn't even paying attention by that point. Anyway, this is all a lie. Yes, the United States has done 45 million tests. Yay! Fantastic for us. But of course, when it actually counted, let's do this together, kids. Back when it actually counted, when the virus was seeding itself, back in March, there we go. There's South Korea. South Korea had done, by March 16th, South Korea had done 250,000 tests. So they'd done 250,000 tests. and we had only done 57. If we take it back to the beginning of March, let's see, let's go to March, let's drag it all the way back to March 8th. We've got South Korea with 188,000 tests already, and of course South Korea has done wonderful with the virus. The United States at that point had only done 5,000 tests. By the beginning of March, and keep in mind, this was a time, now they're claiming that everybody who came in from China, all 40,000 people who came in from China was tested and they had to quarantine, none of which is true. You can't test 40,000 people with 5,000 tests. The CDC put out a contaminated test in February, and we could not test people. And we didn't go to the World Health Organization and say, hey, give us what tests you've got. We didn't refuse the World Health Organization test. That's not the way it works. You ask the World Health Organization for your test. That is why we have 4 million cases, because that guy, hold on, wait, I've got too many screens. Okay, you can pause and edit this out in your head, because that guy failed to test Americans in February. It was his responsibility. He failed to do it. It was his leadership. The buck stops right there, and the fuck never stopped in America. We have 150,000 people dead in this country because he didn't test in February. That's all there is to it. Doesn't matter how many tests we have now. We need more. But the reason we have so many dead, and the reason why things are spiraling out of control all over the country, okay, the reason things are doing less well in some areas of the country is because the CDC screwed up the test. Trump's CDC.
Thank you, Mr. President. I've got 2 questions for you, if that's all right. Number one, I just wanted to know, in November, do you want the American people to judge you on Do you want the American people to judge you on the ballot in November by how you've handled this pandemic so far?
This, among other.
Do you want the American people to judge you in November by how you've handled the pandemic so far? Hello, Goldie. What did you miss? Nothing. It's been pretty quiet. I've fallen asleep 3 times.
Things. I think the American people will judge us on this, but they'll judge us on the economy that I created and that already we're creating. We're setting record job numbers, as you know.
Okay, first off, presidents don't create economies. Otherwise, every president would be like, what's this lever for? Unemployment? I'm bringing that down. Stock market? I'm pushing that up. Ridiculous.
I think we're going to have a very strong year next year. I think we're going to have a very strong 3rd quarter. A very good 4th quarter, but I think next year.
Now he just, it's like, I have nothing to compare it to. He just, once he gets in motion, here's the question, do you think you're going to be judged on the coronavirus during the election? Now he's off to 3rd quarter, 4th quarter, next year, one of the best, we're going to be stronger than ever before. It's an avalanche. It's like, that's a snowball. That's my analogy. It's a urine-covered snowball.
There's going to be a record year, and I think they're going to judge me on that. I think they're going to judge me on the tax cutting.
So let's recap that. They're going to vote in November by judging Trump on a record next year.
And the regulation cutting, which nobody's ever done to the extent that we've been able to do it, on rebuilding the military, on how we've handled the VA. On the VA, we got veterans.
Yes, Tim Zora, we do fat checks, FAT. That's not a typo.
Choice. Nobody thought that would be possible. That's been many decades. They've been trying to get Veterans Choice. It's called
2014 under Obama, Veterans Choice. I have the videotape of it happening.
Choice, where they can go get a doctor if they have to wait online for 2 weeks or 5 weeks or 2 days.
Yeah.
And frankly, that's been a great thing. Veterans accountability. I think they'll judge me on that.
Obama, 2014.
They'll judge me on all of the things
same
we've
bill.
done. I don't think. And I think we can say this, we should, and it's never been even challenged in 3.5 years, the first 3.5 years, the first years of a presidency. I don't think any administration, any president has accomplished so much as we've accomplished, from energy to health to so many other things. And then this came in, and the plague, I call it the plague came in, terrible thing, should have been stopped, wasn't stopped. It came in, we had to shut things down to save potentially millions of lives. We did that, and now we've started them up, and I think we've really started it up very successfully.
Mr. President, thank you, Mr. President. You've been saying for months that the virus would simply disappear, and now you're saying that it's likely to get worse.
He just gave his disdain look to one of the reporters. I want to hear what she said. Sorry, guys. Again, I've literally slept through this press conference 3 times. I tried to listen, and I fell asleep. And then I woke up, and I don't know, Chuck Todd was talking or something. So I went back, and I went to listen again, and I got myself a little iced tea. It's decaffeinated, so... And I started listening again, and fell asleep. Rinse and repeat. I haven't heard these questions, but let's listen to what he said here.
Lives, we did that, and now we've started them up, and I think we've really started it up very successfully.
Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. You've been saying for months that the virus would simply...
I don't know. Is Paula sitting over there or something? Look at that look that he gives the reporter on the other side.
And we had to shut things down to save potentially millions of lives. We did that, and now we've started them up, and I think we've really started it up very successfully.
Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. You've been saying for months that the virus would simply disappear. And now you're saying that it's likely to get worse before it gets better. If it does keep getting worse, if Americans keep dying, are you responsible for that?
Well, the virus will disappear. It will disappear. I think that I always like to say...
And if it doesn't, we'll all be disappeared. So really, it sort of works itself out.
As you know, either way, when you look at it, the governors are working with me. I'm working with the governor. We're working hand in hand. I think we're all responsible. I view it as a team. Very good relationships with the governors. Very, very good relationships.
I just got to hear that part again. Are you responsible?
You know, either way, when you look at it, the governors are working with me. I'm working with the governor. We're working hand in hand. I think we're all responsible. I view it as a team. Very good relationships with the governors. Very, very good relationships.
Even the ones you keep calling stupid? Even the one you're saying are incompetent? Those ones too? Are these part of the team?
I'd say I'm fully responsible, but you know, one day we had a virus come in.
Wait, sorry, I cut that off. Let's go back.
Working with the governor, we're working hand in hand. I think we're all responsible. I view it as a team. Very good relationships with the governors. Very, very good relationships. I could say I'm fully responsible, but you know, one day we had a virus come in, and I closed the borders, did a lot of things that were very good. In fact, Dr. Fauci said we saved tens of thousands of lives when I closed the border, and nobody wanted to do it. I wanted to do it. We closed the border to China. We put on the ban. We didn't want people coming in from heavily infected China. Fairly shortly thereafter, I closed the borders from Europe, coming in from Europe. Those were tremendous moves. We would have, if it's one...
And it didn't work. Yes, it's good to close borders when a pandemic starts, but it's not enough, as the World Health Organization says, as Dr. Fauci has said. But yeah, apparently it didn't work. The virus was already here. And because we weren't testing, we didn't contain it, and now we have 150,000 dead Americans.
Person, it's too much, but we're at, let's say, 140,000. We could have double, triple, quadruple that number if we didn't. So we did a lot of things right. Wait,
did he just say that, Carol? Did I miss that? It's likely to get worse before it gets better? Before it get better? What did I miss, Carol?
Including with equipment. So it's a shame that it happened. It shouldn't have happened. China should have stopped it.
Okay, so you're responsible?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Thank you, President Trump. If I could, two questions. My first question is, we have a very quick testing platform here at the White House.
Yes.
It's great. You get tested, you know, very quickly. Do you think that it would be easier to reopen and restart businesses if we could produce more of those machines?
We're trying to do that. Great question. We're trying very much to do that. So rather than sending your tests in and, you know, it goes through the mail one day, comes back another day, no matter how they send them.
Say, Gigi, did he just say that, or was it? I know you guys are delayed, so I apologize for this. Should I go back? Because I kind of want to hear that. But actually, I can just do this. This is at 30:48. Okay.
A day and a day, so that's 2 days already wasted. And then if it spends by the time you get it back, it's 3 or 4 days if they do an efficient job. We're trying to get the testing on site.
3 or 4 days? That would be a miracle right now. As Dr. Fauci has said many, many times, if it's outside of 48 hours, it's useless.
Thank
you.
I like it the best.
And my
follow-up question. Here's the follow-up question that he should ask. Will you be enacting the DPA, the Defense Production Act, to make that happen? We need the quick tests, and we need them now. Yes, I know they've got a 50% false negative. We're screwed.
Well, my second question, it's a little bit different topic, but it's one that a lot of people are talking about. Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison, and a lot of people want to know if she's going to...
No, that is not the follow-up question you're supposed to ask there. Are you doing anything, Mr. President, to get more of these rapid test machines built and out there so that we can use them so that the economy, which you're going to be elected upon or kicked out upon, gets better? That's the follow-up.
Turn in powerful people, and I know you've talked in the past about Prince Andrew, and you've criticized Bill Clinton's behavior. I'm wondering, do you feel that she's going to turn in powerful men? How do you see that?
This is going to be what the media is talking about for the next, 12 hours until the end of this news cycle. Jeffrey Epstein. Things are going to get worse before they get better, and Jeffrey Epstein. And I don't even know how to say her name. His familiar.
Working out.
I don't know. I haven't really been following it too much. I just wish her well.
Yeah, producer Joanna, this is the other headline, apparently, of the whole press. Hey, this is a press conference. We're going to mostly talk about coronavirus. Oh, hold on. No, Jeffrey Epstein.
Well, frankly, I've met her numerous times over the years, especially.
He wishes her well?
And you've criticized Bill Clinton's behavior.
So, okay, sorry. Now, see, I'm a news consumer. That's, okay. The headline won't be Jeffrey Epstein. The headline will be him wishing her, Trump wishing her well.
Send them. It's a day and a day, so that's 2 days already
Ghislaine?
wasted. And then if it spends by the time you get it back, it's 3 or 4 days if they do an efficient job. We're trying to get the testing on site.
Thank you.
I like it the best.
And my follow-up, my second question, it's a little bit different topic, but it's one that a lot of people are talking about. Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison, and a lot of people want to know if she's going to turn in powerful people. And I know you've talked in the past about Prince Andrew, and you've criticized Bill Clinton's behavior. I'm wondering, do you feel that she's going to turn in powerful men? How do you see that working out?
I don't know. I haven't really been following it too much. I just wish her well, frankly. I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach. And
so anytime he wishes anyone well, now we know that's just sort of a blanket statement. Oh, I wish her well. Oh, he's got a heart condition. Oh, that I wish him well. Oh, Nancy Pelosi felt. Oh, I wish her well. I wish her well.
I guess they lived in Palm Beach, but I wish her well, whatever it is. I don't know the situation with Prince Andrew. Just don't know. Not aware of it.
Mr. President.
Thank you, sir. On unemployment insurance, how much below $600 are you willing to go? And you said that the economy is bouncing back strong, so why do we need to even cut it?
This is going to confuse Trump. He doesn't understand what the question is about because he thinks the stimulus check, the $600 in addition to regular unemployment, he doesn't understand how any of that works. He has one level of comprehension. That level is Trump and how things might affect Trump. In fact, I'm doing a circle here. It's more of just like this. That's what happens inside his brain. Thing, Trump. That's as far as he could make things connect. But this... no, that's just not going to happen in his head. Let's hear how he answers this.
At all.
Well, the economy is getting stronger, and I think we have a chance to have a very strong economy, especially.
Okay, so question was $600 in addition to the unemployment benefits. How far below that are you willing to go? 400, 200, 100? Well, the economy's doing super well, and
if some of the things that I just spoke about work, we want to have people go back and want to go back to work as opposed to be sort of forced into a position where they're making more money than they expected to make, and the employers are having a hard time getting them back to work. So that was
literally no jobs. So I should look that up. It'll be a couple more days. Is it tomorrow? Do we get or Friday? Friday we get the jobs report? I don't know. Anyway, somebody look that up. I don't care. Don't look it up.
Decision that was made. I was against that original decision, but they did that. It still worked out well because it gave people a lifeline, a real lifeline. Now we're doing it again. They're thinking about doing 70% of the amount. The amount would be the same, but doing it in a little bit smaller initial amounts so that people...
Okay, I was wrong. He seems to be comprehending this question here, and he seems to be actually answering it. And he says they're talking about 70%, whereas the Republicans in the Senate are saying nothing. No, we're not giving the unemployees anything. Okay, this will be interesting. So I take it back. I am wrong from time to time.
People are going to want to go back to work as opposed to making so much money that they really don't have to.
So much money. $600 a week. So much. Stop it, please. I can't handle all this cash.
But we were very generous with them. I think that it's been a tremendously successful...
Thank you, Mr. President, for your generosity. All that tax money that I've paid over the years, giving some $600 a week back to me. Thank you so much, sir. There's things they should have done differently to begin with. But yeah, in Canada, everybody was the stimulus checks. And correct me if I'm wrong, Canadian, this might have been Canadians. This might have been increased since it happened, but it was the equivalent of, we got $1,200. Kevin Lee Daughter didn't get her $1,200. But I did manage to get through to the IRS, and you wouldn't believe, I got to make a video about it, because you wouldn't believe the steps that I had to take in order to get through the IRS. She's not going to get that $1,200 until after she files her taxes next year. Maybe the same day she gets her vaccine. I don't know. Wouldn't that be fitting?
Program. The whole thing has been successful. If you
it's 108, Dr. Howard. So I'm thinking of investments at this point, because if I put it in the right places, by the end of this year, I could have $112.
look, I mean, we're in a pandemic, and yet we're producing tremendous number of jobs. That was something that nobody thought possible.
Well, that's because we've actually lost almost 1 million jobs, permanent jobs, gone. We're not producing a tremendous number of jobs. They're just jobs that were on hold and people are going back to as the economy opens up.
Okay, please.
Mr. President, thank you very much. Yesterday you said that wearing a mask was an act of patriotism. If that is the case, why don't you do it more frequently?
Well, I do actually do it when I need. I mean, I carry the mask when I have to go. I went into Walter Reed Hospital the other day. I have the mask right here, and I carry it, and I will use it gladly. No problem with it. And I've said that, and I say, if you can, use the mask. When you can, use the mask. If you're close to each other, if you're in a group, I would put it on when I'm in a group.
I am a Canadian citizen, but I've lived outside the country since I was 16, so I haven't gotten any money. I'm sure you have to be a resident of Canada and be paying taxes in Canada. I would imagine. I don't know. I should look into it.
If I'm in an elevator and there are other people with me, including like security people, it's not their fault. They have to be in the elevator. I want to protect them also. I put on a mask. I have no problem with the masks. I view it this way. Anything that potentially can help, and that certainly can potentially help, is a good thing. I have no problem. I carry it. I wear it. You saw me wearing it a number of times, and I'll continue. Please.
Can I ask you a quick follow-up?
Go ahead, please.
So are you sending mixed messages? So yesterday you tweeted out an image wearing a mask, and then last evening we saw you not.
So the follow-up there would be, so Mr. President, can you please tell the American people, to the camera, please wear your masks? It's really simple. Why not do that?
Not wearing a mask at your hotel.
Well, I don't know the hotel. I was pretty far away from people, but I would say this. I've explained it, I think, very well. If you're close together, I would put on the mask. And if you're not, I would say that if you're, for instance, I'll see, like here, you've been all tested, I've been tested. Oftentimes I'll be with people that are fully tested, I've been tested. In theory, you don't need the mask. I'm getting used to the mask. And the reason is, think about patriotism. Maybe it is. It helps. It helps. Now, we have experts that have said in the recent past that masks aren't necessarily good to wear. You know that. But now they've changed their mind. If they change their mind, that's
the recent past. He's talking about in January, where they're saying there was no need to wear the mask. Back when there was a shortage of surgical masks, they didn't want everybody buying all the surgical masks because the medical people needed them. So that was a lie of not convenience, a lie of for the greater good, a white lie, if you will. So I had a thought there too, but now it's gone.
Good enough for me, so I wear it when appropriate. Please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, sir. A lot of Americans, though, may be surprised.
Oh, yeah, here's the thing. Just a couple of days ago with Chris Wallace, he said that masks can do damage, that masks do harm as well. Which, yes, they can to a very, very, very small number of people. And you can't use that as an excuse not to endorse masks when you're telling people to go to school because only 60 kids will die, or 60 kids have died.
surprised at your change of tone over all of this, a more perhaps realistic tone, some would look at it that way. The sudden embrace of masks, social distancing,
Well, I've always agreed with that. I mean, I've never fought either one, but certainly social distancing, I want to, that's common sense. 6 feet to me is common sense. I'd like to say maybe make it a little bit further.
The idea that things will get worse perhaps before they get better here, and perhaps the realization that this resurgence, if you will, is for real when you used to talk about it in terms of little fires being put out here and there. Would you
We have them
respond
too.
to that?
No, we have embers and fires, and we have big fires, and unfortunately now Florida is in a little tough, or in a big tough.
Can I just hate that we concentrate so much on the metaphor of, is it an ember? Is it a forest fire? It doesn't fucking matter. We have the numbers. We know exactly what it is. It doesn't have to be called an ember. Plus, we have no water to put this thing out, so
Position.
It just burns,
you have a great
burns.
governor there. You have a great governor in Texas. You have people that are very, very skilled people, and I think they're going to handle it very well. Their hospital capacities are holding up.
The point is to not have the people go to the hospital to get sick in the first place. And you do that by not having the bars open, for instance.
But Texas is a big state, and it's very well run, and so is Florida, and I think they'll do a very good job.
Are you changing your tone, though, sir?
Yeah, go ahead.
But they haven't done a good job. I mean, those are the numbers. Hold on, I'll pull them up again. Let's just look at Texas, because he just talked about Jim Abbott in Texas. Let's pull up Texas here. Here's Texas. Texas, so hard to find on the map. New cases per million, 336. Again, remember we looked at Canada a couple of weeks back, 7. Texas, 336 new cases per million per capita. In the last 14 days, the uncontrolled spread has gone from 7.23K in the last 14 days. Now they're almost 10K, 10,000 new cases a day in Texas. And their positivity rate since yesterday has gone up. 2 weeks ago, it was 14.4%. Now it's 15.3. 15.3% of the cases tested in Texas, where they're having hour-long waits, hours-long, days-long waits. People are lining up before sunrise in order to get tested in Texas, sitting in their cars. It's 100-plus degrees all over Texas all summer long, and people are waiting in their cars, running out of gas while they're waiting to get tested. 15.3% positivity, much higher in some areas of Texas, but Abbott's doing a fantastic job. Florida, oh, doctor, don't make me look at Florida. Okay, Florida positivity rate still at 18.9%. You have to be below 5 to even be considered reasonable. You have to be at 1% or below to be considered of quelling the virus. Florida is at 18.9%. There's Florida right there. New cases per million in the last 14 days, 519. 500 again. Canada, 7. Right up here, right above here. That's Canada up there. In fact, right in here. It's like a 10-hour drive to get from from Windsor, which is right across from Detroit, down to Florida. I don't know. I'm just saying that. A 21-hour drive. Who cares? The point is, Canada's right there. And in the Great White North, 7 cases, new cases per million. Florida, 519. But they're doing a great job. DeSantis is doing an absolutely awesome job.
Ask you about the issue of vaccines, which you already mentioned. Yesterday, a study by a Chinese company showed some promising results for its coronavirus vaccine candidate. If China were first in developing the vaccine, or even if it weren't, would the administration be willing to work with China to bring a successful Chinese vaccine to the U.S.?
Yeah, we're willing to work with anybody that's going to get us a good result. We're very close to the vaccine. I think we're going to have some very good results. We're already in testing. Nobody thought that would be possible. Under the old system, it would be a year to 2 years before you could even think about using the word testing. So I think we've had a lot of, and the reason we're testing, I mean, they've had good results. So now we have to see in the testing also for safety, because they have to make sure it's safe. And I think you're going to see something over the next fairly short period of time, maybe very short period of time, having to do with therapeutics and vaccines that are very good. So we'll be doing these quite often. We're going to keep you abreast of this, and we'll also talk about some of the other topics like our economy, which is doing well. The stock market had another good day. I think they have a good day because they see a lot of positive things happening on this front, too. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, before we go, let's watch the link that Danielle just sent me. I can bring it over here. Give me a second here, and let's see what happens. Here we go. They're talking. And let me take off the mute. And
more at the other end of the age spectrum. We know how COVID-19 has ravaged many nursing homes, but what about the other end of the age spectrum? Our investigative unit has obtained new data that shows nearly 1,000 positive cases at child care facilities across California. Investigative reporter Candace Wynn has the story you'll see only on NBC Bay Area.
Last month, Early Horizons Preschool in Sunnyvale got the call it had been dreading. 2 siblings attending the daycare tested positive for COVID-19.
So when you got that call that this happened, what went through your mind?
Yeah, it was an immediate, like, what's our first reaction? What do we need to do? What do we need to do to make sure everyone stays safe and it's not spreading?
Antonio Labrador is the director. He says the parents started feeling sick on a Wednesday, but dropped the kids off at daycare because they were unaware they had COVID.
So they didn't have any symptoms while they were here.
On Thursday, they still felt ill and kept the kids home. They got tested and found out the whole family had the virus.
Yeah, this story is going to happen over and over and over and over and over again once we open up the schools, which is why in California, I don't know, 25 or 35 million kids. Sorry, not kids. 38 counties or something. Anyway, they're not opening the schools.
That's when they called Early Horizons.
Oh, we shut down the school. Called parents, had them come pick up their children, and yeah, shut the school down.
How are you today? In the North Bay, a similar scare. North Bay Children's Center CEO Susan Gilmore got a call back in May that 2 kids, also siblings, were exposed to a COVID-positive aunt. The children later tested positive.
So these are kids that never would have been tested. They were asymptomatic, went through the check-in every morning, taking their temperature.
Both facilities say they prevented an outbreak. The virus...
I'm sorry, but what is the point of taking the temperature of the kids at the daycare? The kids are asymptomatic. That's what we've been hearing over and over again. Temperature checks in general don't do a whole lot unless somebody's symptomatic. But I mean, yes, do it anyway. It's just heart-wrenching how easy it is to miss these cases.
As far as they know, did not spread to other children or staff. The kids were already kept in groups of 10 or 12 called cohorts to minimize exposure.
We shut.
Goldie, on that map that I just showed everybody, here, I'll bring it back. So green is trending better. So up there, you guys, Goldie, you're trending better because you've already had everybody die in New York. So good for you. And then it's like a stoplight. Green, yellow, red. Red is trending poorly, and the maroon is everybody's dying. Uncontrolled spread. Back to the report. Thank you to Danielle for sending us this report.
Down that cohort, that classroom. So all 10 children were tested, all of the teachers were tested, and all of the parents of those children were tested. They all tested negative.
But not every child care center has been as successful. New state data shows nearly 1,000 COVID-19 cases linked to licensed child care facilities. The number includes staff, kids, and parents, and shows a 12% increase since last.
They're using building blocks in the graphics. Ouch.
Last week. Broken down by county, Los Angeles tops the list with 170 cases. It has by far the most facilities open during this pandemic. In the Bay Area, Santa Clara County had 28 cases, Alameda County had 19, Contra Costa 14, Marin 13, and Solano 11.
I do worry about it, but...
Liz Levatino and her husband are aware of the risks, but like so many Bay Area parents, they both have full-time jobs.
You're faced with an impossible choice, like your livelihood or your child.
Early Horizons reopened on Monday.
I'm sorry, but that is not an impossible choice. It's just not. Your livelihood, money, or your child? That's not a choice. It's your child every single time. I don't want to tell anybody how to parent, but this is how you should parent. The kid comes first.
After closing for 2 weeks to deep clean and re-sanitize its facilities.
Some parents might be uncomfortable or scared to bring a kid back after something like that. What do you want to say to them?
It's a very valid.
No, this is California news. This is from Danielle. It happens to be from the NBC Bay Area station, but they're talking about the whole of California.
Concern. It is risky. We do.
Look at those eyes, though. I could just jump in those eyes and swim around for a while.
We have a consent form for our parents to sign that they know the risk. But,
Labrador, Antonio Labrador.
Just make sure the centers are doing everything possible
I would pet
to make
him.
sure they're not spreading.
Look at that.
Every single provider we
Just
spoke with
dreaming.
says it is.
It's like a Mexican Cal Ripken. What's Labrador? Is that a Hispanic name?
Struggling as a business to keep up with these changing guidelines and keeping kids safe. For resources on what you can do if you're a parent, head to NBCBayArea.com/investigations. With the investigative unit, I'm Candace Wen.
Yeah, so it's an impossible choice to make. Shut up. It's an impossible choice to make, but it's also an easy choice to make. And all of those parents make that choice when the daycare shuts down and says, hey, we've had a COVID case, take the kids home, get them tested. You leave work and you make that choice. And again, all of this is because Donald Trump failed to test in February. Didn't take it seriously. It's going to be close to zero. It's all going to fade away in April. It's just all going to magically go away. It did this. Remember this? It's magically go away. Magically go away. That's why the parents are having to make those kinds of choices. And that's what we should be voting upon in November. But of course, those people are all live in California with the toddlers who got the disease, the 998 cases of COVID. Now, we don't know that those cases came from the daycare. More likely they came from the parents at home. But those kids don't get sick if we had tested, contained, and traced back at the beginning. And we had said, oh, hey, do you have to? And here's the thing. None of those parents should have to make that choice, because we should have a national standard of, oh, wait, you've been exposed to COVID, stay home for 2 weeks, and we will pay your bills. That's what they did in South Korea. And guess what? It worked. South Korea, as of right now, give me a moment, please. South Korea, I'm just going to look up South Korea deaths. You go ahead and think about how many deaths the United States has had in the meantime. And South Korea, I'll bring you the screen. Here you go. There's the screen. South Korea, we got to go way down the list. We've had 140,000 deaths. South Korea has had 297,000 deaths. Just 297. Less than 300 deaths. Here's what that looks like on a graph. This is 140,000. That's the United States. South Korea is I'm not even going to use my left hand because it's not on the chart. 297 deaths. That's what we could have been if we had done this properly. 10,000 cases in Texas today. 297 deaths total. Look at that in South Korea. All time. South Korea has 1/6 the population of the United States. 14,000 cases. Florida has had 14,000 cases in a day. Just Florida. South Korea has more people than Florida. By almost double. All right. Casey, 1,000 deaths today here. Is that here in the United States? Did we hit 1,000? Hold on. Let me go back up. This chart's going to be a little bit off. The USA, we have to go to yesterday. And new deaths in the U.S., 1,119. (1,119) deaths today in the United States. 297 since the pandemic began in South Korea. How do I move to South Korea? They have hockey rinks in South Korea. They actually have a South Korean hockey team. Remember that from the Olympics? Huh? The Olympics that Ivanka was responsible for. Oh, boy. Okay, well, that went downhill quickly. So there is a, for those of you watching who follow the Billy Joel Madness thing, go to hashtag Billy Joel Madness. There is a vote right now going on. It is The Longest Time versus We Didn't Start the Fire. Go to Twitter at Kevin Lee Father, and I think it's my most recent post. I can find out for you. Hold on, Twitter. I don't think I've posted anything because I've been napping since then because Trump keeps putting me to sleep. It's all Trump's fault. And there's my profile. And okay. Where is it? Is the Billy Joel Madness not up? Hold on, kids. Did that not go up there? Oh, no, it's there. This is from a while ago. Yeah, so right now we've got We Didn't Start the Fire leading the longest time, 63% to 36%. Get in there and vote now. 47 people have voted already. Whoever wins this battle goes on to the final four. So we were almost at the semifinals for Billy Joel Madness. Just put in hashtag Billy Joel Madness. Like this. Boop. Hashtag Billy Joel Madness. It's too small on your screen to see probably, unless you're watching on a big screen, like the smart kids. And do your vote. We Didn't Start the Fire versus The Longest Time. Quite frankly, both of these are considered Billy's cheesy songs. Even Billy says We Didn't Start the Fire is sort of his worst melody. He's not fond of it. But it's, you know what? It's super catchy and it's a really good song. It is an earworm. Yeah, Lori, we actually did a parody to We Didn't Start the Fire called He Didn't Stop the Virus, and I have yet to record it. So someday, kids, hey, if you'd like to support me doing this sort of thing, go to kevinleefather.com or paypal.me/kevinleedad, and you can make a one-time donation there. So much to do. I'm going to let you guys go, but first, here are the closing credits. Everybody, be safe. Kevin, did you DM me for the video of the gate? Yes, I did, but here's the thing, Ratch. Just typing in your name now. Rich Mac. It doesn't actually show people going through the gate. We don't know what happened that night. I'm looking for video of the gate on that night. Was it actually busted open? And from the video that you sent me, it looks like it could have been forced open that night. If one side of the gate is fine, like the lady says in the news report, okay, what about the other side of the gate? So we really don't know whether they broke through the gate or not. We don't have definitive proof of that. So if somebody comes across that, please send it my way. Producer Joanna, tell your friends. So everybody tell your friends. If you want to support the broadcast, even if you're out there watching and you don't chat in the room over there with those idiots, no offense, but come on. I'm just kidding. I meant offense. No, if you don't want to be part of those chatters over on that side, the chatterheads, the Kevin Lee fam, we call them, even if you're just watching at home and you do want to help, but you don't have the resources to contribute any monetary funds. Here's the thing, guys. If you're in a financial struggle right now, as many of us are, I don't want your money. If you do want to support us, I greatly appreciate every penny that comes my way. All 38 cents from Chris Wilson makes a huge difference. I mean, it doesn't, but it really does. It makes Chris feel good, and that's the important part. So if you are in financial straits, dire straits, don't send in any money. I'm going to keep doing this one way or the other, and hopefully I'll be getting some unemployment money soon. There's another story there. Oh, you know what? Since the broadcast is pretty much over, I will tell you guys about I was on hold for 2 hours and 43 minutes, I think. I think that might be the entirety of the call with unemployment. I finally got through to Tier 3. Tier 3 said, oh, you've got 5 open issues. And I said, oh, no, I've solved those many times. And then when we were looking through the issues, the attachments I had sent in were there. And the lady said, oh, yeah, no, you explained this very well in great detail. I'm not sure why this wasn't clear. So she's told me that tonight it'll all be processed, and then I'll get all my weeks of unemployment coming to me. I heard that back on June 19th, and I got $108. So we'll see what happens. So everybody keep me in your thoughts and your prayers and your bank accounts. KevinLeeFather.com if you want to contribute. Again, if you can't contribute, if you're not in a good financial place, don't contribute. But the way to do that, and thank you, producer Joanne, for reminding me, is to share this with your friends. When you see me saying a broadcast is coming up on the Twitters, just send out a link, or send a link to my Facebook and say, hey, follow this guy, at KevinLeeFather. Otherwise, we will see you guys today. No, you're not going to see me in my face cup. Because I'm going to open that up and do like an unboxing video, and I'll put that up on YouTube so you guys can watch that. I say I'm going to do that, but I probably won't do that. But I should do that, because actually this is important. I will do this. This could save a life, and the life it saved could be mine. So that's important. Guys, we will see you later. And here are some closing credits for you. Thanks to everybody in the closing credits. Make sure to watch till the end.